What's up? Today I'm going to show you how to do an anime flow edit. I will just show the basics, and I will use this clip for that one. So first of all, you can decide if you want to just time remap the clip or if you want to twixter it. For example, if like here is your beat and you just want like this thing here, then you of course can't time remap it because it's too long. If like your beat is here, then you can just time remap it and you don't need to twixter. This would look like that. But I would recommend you to twixter because I always do that. So first of all, you can watch my twixter tutorial first, because I think you will need this if you want to make a good flow edit. So I'll just skip twixtering this clip. So everything is twixtered now. I just decided to leave this clip untwixtered because this is like almost impossible to twixter. So let's say we have like 5 movements in this clip. This one, then this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So I'm gonna just select random beats. Of course, you're gonna beat sync it first. I'll just choose this ones. So I'll just put my twixter on after I like cut every single frame and stuff. Just watch the twixter tutorial for that. Then I'm gonna pre-comp it, and then I'm gonna time remap. So if this is the beat, then I want like the first movement to hit in the beginning, like in this time of the beat. Wait, so I'm gonna do something like, I'm just gonna go through here, then the beginning I leave it there, and then I will like try to graph it so that I can get as much impact as I want. So try it maybe like this. So I think this will work. Then for the next beat drop, I'm gonna try something like, oops. Just go to the last frame. You see? This has much impact at the beat. So for the next beat, you have this clip. So there is no twixter, so you can just time remap it like that, place one keyframe at the end and then drag it here. And as you see, you should try to get the last frame always as an impact frame. So the last frame I want his head down, because the next clip starts with that. So now you can just do the same stuff for the next clip. And maybe try to go till here or something. For this clip you want to go here maybe. And for the last clip we're just gonna stay, let's say this is our last beat. Then drag this frame one before the last, because like there is an kind of impact at the last frame when he pulls his swords up. Yep, this should work. So we're just gonna time remap that and try to have like the middle of the movement in the middle of the clip with the time remap. You can just play around with it, like, yeah, that's good. For this one we're gonna do the same. We try that this frame is in the middle, and here exact the same thing, like this one probably. You see, now you have kinda flow. Like that's pretty easy. I use this clip very often. So after you did that, you can come to the cam movement. But I think I can show you another technique first. So if you want to do something like in reverse, let's say the movement on this clip is like to the right down, you see? It's like right down. But if your next clip is gonna go up left, then you can just do this here. This is a technique I often use. You use this last frame, okay? And pull it like a little bit after the middle. Then you go one frame for the end and just move it back till the movement to the left is done. I would say here. And then you twixter it like that. You like easy ease it again with F9. You just select them, F9. Then go here and just pull these two like almost at the top. Leave those two alone. And if you do this, then it will look like this. Like it's too short for now, because wait, I have to use a different frame here. You see? Like of course this won't work because, yeah, now. You see, now it's reversed and he goes up left again. You just have to make that smooth. So leave those two alone and just drag these two up almost on top. This also looks very good. This is a technique that I often use if I have clips that don't link perfectly. And also if your next clip doesn't link, you can just do flip horizontal and then he moves to the other direction. It's just some small tips from me. So next we're gonna go to the cam movement. Like for this clip I like to use a simple cam because you can see the clip doesn't like change, it's just the same scene, you know? So just select everything, make it 3D, make a cam, and make as much null objects as you have like movement. There's one movement, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, like for the clip to end. So we just make that 3D and duplicate it 6 times with Ctrl-D. So we have 7, now just link them to the cam. And once you did this, you can start. Like the first movement I would say is up left. So you can just start with, like, zoom out, I would say. Go like around here. Make sure that the keyframes always overlap. Make it probably like this. And move it like a little bit up to the left, so you can go right down for the next clip. Just easy ease it and separate the dimensions. And then just use like this graph, I would say. You can do like motion blur on and motion blur off, but I like it with off since I'm gonna use one frame as later, so I'm gonna just do it without motion blur. Next up, you're gonna do the second movement. So you always want to have overlapping keyframes so the movement gets way cleaner. So I just go 1 or 2 frames before the next beat, press position again, and then follow the movement. Like here, he goes right down. So I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit and go down to the right. Like this probably. Then I'm gonna do the keyframe after the next beat because you wanna have like overlapping keyframes, as I said. Then you just go to edit the speed graph. And always try to graph it like this. Like this yellow thing exactly under the beat. So you have like the biggest impact here. Then next up, you're gonna do like the exact opposite. You wanna go left up. So you're just gonna move your cam up here maybe. And do the keyframe overlapping. This is like always the same. I'm just gonna show it to you since you have to like get a feeling for the movement of the clip. so you can like support the clip movement with your camera movement. It's like kind of simple. Wait, I made a small mistake here. Put this here, so there are not like 2 times the same frame. This will look a bit laggy, so just put it here. Then do the exact same thing. Like for this, you can zoom out a little and just go... No, actually I'm gonna zoom in. Just go down left, because like here's his head, here's the movement. And also same graph. Now it's like kind of the same. It goes up left, right down, and up left in the last second. So I'm just gonna leave that out since it's kind of simple, I think. Then you can like do a little preparation for the next step. You can just cut the clip wherever there is a beat for the shakes later. So after you've done your movement, you can do the shakes. For the shakes, I add S dissolve shake, and you're just gonna like crank those up a bit, I would say. And like this is the percent how much it should dissolve. Like just leave it at 0 first, then keyframe the amplitude and make it like almost 0 at the end, like 0.05 or something, and then graph it like this. Then crank up the dissolve percent and maybe change the graph like this. Then you can also put these up like 92. That's good, I think. Z shake like 7.5 maybe. And you see your clip starts to like shake a bit. You can just increase those settings if you want it to shake more. Like I can use 140 here. Then you will see it will shake a bit. You can also use transform, or you can just combine them. Transform is kind of simple. You just do position or rotation and then put it up like 2, then go to here and make it, I don't know, 0.5, then 1, and at the end 0. Then you just ease it with F9, and it's like very, very small shake, so you can also do like higher values. It depends on you. You can really do what you want. If you combine those two, it will look like this. You see, it's a kind of simple shake. It's not that hard. So I'm just gonna. So I wouldn't recommend you to use the same shakes every time. Like you can really play around with them, since it's not very hard. Just play around with those values I showed you. Then you just like, I'm gonna copy them for the tutorial, since I'm just gonna show you the basics. So that's kind of simple, you see. Then for like more impact, you just make an adjustment layer, and you can use like kind of blur or something. You can just put on BCC lens blur, OBS, this one. Oh, it lags, holy shit. Then you're gonna like just pull the scale up a bit, put it on sharper. No, it doesn't really matter, okay. Put it on this. And at the end of the clip just do 0. And then also graph it like this. You see, it just gives like a little blur. You can also use it with exposure or flicker. Just put exposure at 1 maybe in the beginning, and in the end at 0. But you don't have to use that every time. Like, it's just for a new clip, for example. Like I wouldn't use this every time in between this clip, just in the beginning maybe. Then for the middle of these clips, just make one framers. I'm gonna show you what this means. So I have one I most of the time use. I'm gonna do like the adjustment layer 4 frames, 1 into the first clip at the end and 3 into the next clip. Just add exposure and do like exposure in the beginning 5. Oh, that's kind of too much. 5, then you're gonna do like -4 maybe, 5 again, and -6. You can also place this one framer here if you want. It's just like making everything like a little bit flickering and having good transition, you know. Sometimes you can see like the edges through this, then I would like here in this clip, then I would recommend you to just change the offset or use a solid, like a white solid, I don't know. But it's fine. It's like so bright that nobody will see it, don't worry. Also you can use a simple one framer. I have it saved here, wait. This one. This is the one I think I most often use. It's like offset with directional blur. You can play around with the blur a bit if it's too much for you. Like it's just the offset. You change it to the right or the left, or you can also change it like this if you want. It doesn't really matter. Then you have to change the blur direction to like 180 because you always want like this edge to be blurry. But for now I'm gonna use this one, and then just crank the blur up a bit, and then it will look like this. Like it's just very short and you can't really see it, but it makes like everything cleaner. Especially at the end it looks very cool since it looks like this, you know. It gives much more impact. Yeah, I think these are the simple one framers you can use. They are way more. For example, you can just use it without the blur. But I only would recommend you to do this at the end or at the clip change, like here, for example. This looks kind of cool, especially with the whoosh, like with the whoosh sound effect. Then after that you can do like CC and quality. Of course you're gonna add flicker first because like flicker is very important for flow edits. You can just copy those settings, like it's not very important, it's just a simple flicker and it makes like, yeah, the clip flickering, of course. Then on top of that you do another layer and do a CC, like I did this one. I know my CCs are not the best, but I like this type of CC. So I used curves here to like make the contrast a little bit higher, you see? Like the brights get a little bit darker and other way around. And then in the CC I'm gonna like show you real quick what I did and what everything means. Like pop is just to give a little bit of pop. You see those edges there, they get like a little bit more pop. Lens distortion I like to use. It's like just giving a little bit like optics compensation. It looks kind of cool if you do scales and stuff, if you do positions and stuff. Then spot exposure just makes spot a little bit brighter. And colorista is very important for me because it changes like the colors of the shadows. For example, if I would do this red, then it would look like red, but I'll leave this at blue since I like the blue type. You can also use, especially if you use Zorro, you can do like kind of a green CC for him, but it doesn't fit this clip, so I just choose like the blue thing. Then contrast is like self-explanatory, it's like it explains itself, like contrast just adds contrast. Mojo is kind of special. I like to use pre-drawn very often because it makes like the clip blue. You can also use maybe light, for example. It makes it just a little bit brighter. But Mojo isn't that important. You can just leave it out. I'm gonna use pre-drawn for this one. Then LUTs are also not that important in my opinion. I just chose Vibrance Sing as a little add-on. As you see, it doesn't change much. It just makes his skin like not that bright. It makes it more looking like skin color. Then hue and saturation is pretty important in most CCs. You can change everything. Like you can change the lightness of the colors, the saturation and the hue. For example, if I would do like the hue of this light blue to green, then it would look green. If I would put the lightness of the light blue totally up, then it would get very bright, and the saturation like the same thing. It would be gray if it would be on -100. So this is kind of simple. I think you can just play around with those values. As I said, it's important to not copy my stuff, because then you won't learn anything from it. Just try to understand what I explained you and like try to use that in your edit. And on top you just add like a little bit of quality sharpen. Like you can just copy those settings, yeah, for quality. Like it will make the edges cooler and just the quality a little bit better, as you can see here. Yeah, and then you're kind of finished with the flow. One thing I could show you is also sound effects. This one, because you can do much with it if you add audio effects. So for example, we want one for this, since it like you should hear his clothes in this clip, like because he's moving, you should hear a whoosh. So you're just gonna put that on, click L 2 times, and put it like under the beat. I would say like this. It's too early. Like this. Then I like to pre-compose the stuff. And just play around with the settings, like dry out and wet out at like 0 and 100. Then the reverb won't change anything, but 50 and 50 is like the max setting. Then it will look a bit, it will sound a bit weird. But if you like, maybe choose something like this, then the reverb can really help. And don't choose like too loud SFX. Just make them, if you have a song especially, just make them loud enough to be heard, but not too loud, because that will ruin it, trust me. Yeah, like this. And just search for SFX in YouTube, or yeah, stuff like that. Like if you want a punch, then just search for punch sound effect in YouTube or something, and I'm sure you will find the right stuff. Yeah, at least I can say thank you for watching. I hope the tutorial helped you. Bye bye.